NDSU football team has already played 3/4 of its regular season, and at this point, it seems more than fair to say the team has not skipped a beat from last year's unbeaten season. After a lopsided 56-17 victory over Youngstown State last weekend, the Bison have won each of their last 30 games dating back to October 2017. This is the second time in FCS history a program has owned a 30-game winning streak, joining themselves from 2012 to 2014 when they won 33 straight. NDSU is currently second in the nation in both scoring offense and scoring defense and winning games by nearly 28 points on average. The Bison return home this Saturday for their annual Harvest Bowl game against Western Illinois. Tune in next week for highlights and post-game reaction. It's basketball time once again in Fargo, and for the NDSU women's basketball team, it's a chance to start fresh. Last Friday, the team held an exhibition against Minnesota Crookston, and new head coach Jory Collins guided the Bison to a decisive 88-51 victory. True freshman Ryan Cobbins led all scorers in the win with 18 points, and every Bison who played scored at least 2. Last night, NDSU opened their regular season with a 95-63 loss against Northern Iowa, and were led by 15 from Michelle Geislerova. The Bison have their home opener set for Sunday at 1 against Northern Illinois. As for the men's basketball team, their season started with a tough test on the road against Kansas State Tuesday night. NDSU had their hands full early, but managed to keep it close for most of the night. Early first half action, a drive and kick here from Rocky Cruiser leads to a 3 for Vinny Shahid. That's 3 of his 8 points on the night. Bison were down early. Some unselfish ball movement here on this possession leads to a straight-on 3 from Cruiser, who banks it in off the glass. NDSU's up 22-21 at the half. Second half now, it's Tyson Ward spotting up for 3 on the right wing to tie the game, but the rest of the half belonged to the Wildcats. This hook shot coming up in traffic from McCall Mayween drops, and the Bison only shoot 29% from the floor. They lose by 13. The team will hold their home opener tonight at 7 against Mayville State. The NDSU wrestling team rang in its new season with a solid showing at home Sunday. Competing in its first home duel of the season against Cal State Bakersfield, the home team took care of business, winning 7 of its 10 matches. The Bison had 3 wrestlers nationally ranked in their weight classes compete, and all 3 won their decisions, including a tech fall from Cam Sikora at 133. NDSU will host the 49th annual Bison Open at the Shack this weekend, beginning at 9 a.m. The NDSU volleyball team continues to inch closer to a playoff berth with each passing week. After a weekend split against Purdue Fort Wayne and Western Illinois, the Bison are 6-6 in the Summit League, and that's good for 5th in the conference with 4 matches remaining. NDSU holds that position 3 wins above 3 other teams tied for 6th, and the top 6 make the conference tournament. The Bison are on the road again this weekend and can punch their postseason ticket as early as tomorrow. And finally, a shocker in women's soccer. For the first time in 11 years, NDSU is not in the Summit League tournament. The team lost to Denver on Sunday 1-0 on a goal by the Pioneers' Mary DeWalt in the 70th minute. This result caps off an 8-7-3 season overall and a 3-3-2 record in conference. Each of those 3 conference losses came on the road. Here's a look at what the standings look like entering Sunday. NDSU just needed to tie Denver to get into the tournament, potentially knocking out UND in the process. Oral Roberts started Sunday 2 points out of 4th. But with the Bison's loss and a Golden Eagles victory, Oral Roberts gets in as the 3 seed, UND takes 4th via tiebreaker, and NDSU is out. The tournament this year is hosted by South Dakota State, and the 2 semifinal games took place earlier today. And that's This Week in Sports. Up next is the last check of the weather and Bison on the Street. We'll be right back.